the drama from no pretentious media Madonna. I found me a great ganja mama. Cannabis and coffee with some marijuana.
Morning, muffins. How's everybody doing today? It is Monday, May the 13th. Where the hell does time go? Like, it was Global Marijuana March, and then it was Mother's Day. It's 420. Like, the seasons just keep on flying past us. It's kind of like, wow. Anyways, because it is May 13th and next weekend will be the May long weekend, we all know what that means. Have you got your seeds popped? Are they ready to go in the ground? Because in Canada, now that we have legalization, you are able to grow 4 plants. So a lot of times people will start them in the house. A lot of people will start from clones, which is something else that we will talk about a little bit about. But a lot of people like to start from seeds. The thing with seeds are, then you got to sex the plant. And a lot of times you're told you're being sold feminized seeds. I'm not saying that you're not. And there's a method to the madness of, I guess, is how they are able to feminize seeds or be able to tell which seeds are feminized. I've never done genetics. I'm not really educated on that part of it. I was kind of hoping to get a seed geneticist on the show, but I didn't get any responses. So if you know somebody who's a seed vendor or does seeds, send them my way, because I'd love to have you on the show and talk about genetics, because that's something I think a lot of people don't really understand. So I found some seeds in a little pill container that have been up in my cupboard for since we moved here. So I've been in Cranbrook now. It'll be 10 years in October. I have no idea how old they are. But they were a sour diesel. And you know what? All 4 of them were deads. Not one of them popped. I've got one left. And then I also threw out some green crack seeds. Nada. Again, nothing. So now I've put out some AK-47 Godspud. One's looking like it might. But that would also entail me being on top of it and making sure that the paper towel is always wet. And I'm not on it so much anymore. I am, but then I forget because I've got so many other things on the go that I kind of, so the first set of seeds that I put out were, so I've got more out. But again, then I usually grow them in, stages. And by the end of the summer, they're in a big green garbage can. And then I will bring them in the house and finish them off inside. Last year, I actually ended up with some clones from a friend, and I could get clones from him again. I'm sure I could, but I'm not paying for them. Just not. I'm just not willing to pay for a snip of a plant that really cost you nothing. And I think that as people that grow cannabis, we should get off the, marketing capitalistic train and help each other rather than looking for a buck. Because, the price of pounds have come down. Commodity it's like a bushel of wheat. Like we always said it should be, like a pound of tomatoes. A pound of tomatoes is $2.99, which is ridiculous for a tomato too, $2.50 per tomato, because that's what we charge at my store, which I think is absolutely fucking ridiculous. But again, we don't have buying power, so we buy 1 box of tomatoes instead of 40, so they cost us that much. Anyways, again, it's all about commodities. And at one point in time, I said that cannabis should be just like wheat, just like anything else. It's a commodity. It should be sold by the pound, and it should be $28 a pound, buck a gram, or not a pound, $28 an ounce, right? So $1 a gram. So that's where I'm at. And so at 28 ounces, or $28 an ounce, let's do the math on that. Okay, so we're going to go to my calculator. We're doing a calculation. We're going to do a calculation. Where's my calculator? Okay, so at $28 an ounce, and there's 4 ounces in a quarter pound. And so that's 4, 8, 16. So there's 16 ounces in a pound. So 16 times 28 is $448 a pound. And they're not even getting that for it. It's around $300 a pound. So it's not even going for $1 a gram. Why people have really stopped growing cannabis in large commodities, because it's not worth their time. And the government, when these big growers are taking their cannabis to market, aren't paying them any more than $300 a pound. So hence, like, why the gardeners are like, why bother? Like, even the ones that are going into the legal market, like, and then I was asked to trim by a local company here in town, or I guess in the area. I wouldn't say in town; they're not in town. And they're only paying like trimmers $20 an hour, and I'm thinking, I am not working for 8 hours a day doing that much work for $20 an hour when I stand behind a till for that. We used to pay our trimmers $25 an hour back in the day, and now that it's gone down to, you work in a store for minimum wage, which depends on what province you're in, or you're being paid or sloughed off by a hand trim for $20 an hour. And they're not paying your taxes. They expect you to do that too. They're not paying you cash. You're on the books because they have to log every fucking bud that they fucking trim. So they have to absolutely fucking show on their books that they have paid you, but they do not have to pay your CPP or EI or anything else. You're a contract, short-term contract, 2-week fucking contract at $20 an hour or whatever it is a week, no taxes paid, no benefits. So, on that note too, so after you take off your taxes on $20 an hour, I know I'm only making $15 an hour, which is actually less than minimum fucking wage. In my province, anyway. In my province, they're paying, I believe it's going up to $17 an hour. I think we're at $16.85 right now in British Columbia for minimum wage, which isn't bad considering when I started working when I was 14, 1984, minimum wage was $2.50, right? But that was also 30 years ago, and in 30 years, it's only gone up like not even fucking like $12 in 30 years. Like, that's kind of like weird. Like, I'm sure that the cost of living has gone up more than $12 in 30 years. Just saying, right? Okay, so let's check and see. I think minimum wage in BC is, let's just check. Minimum wage in province in BC. Okay. Is $17.40 an hour right now. Wage increase, no, actually that's not till June 1st. So June 1st, BC's minimum wage goes up. Right now it's $16.75 an hour. June 1st, 24, it's a 3.9% increase, consists with BC's average rate of inflation in 2023. So they're raising it up 3.9% rather than 3.5%, because normally it's been, I think, 3.5%. The minimum wage in Alberta is $15 an hour. And I remember everybody bitching about, oh, man, $15 an hour, everything's going to cost so much more. It does cost more. And that's why you need $15 an hour to live. And that's not even a fucking enough. Like, I'm making fucking $20 an hour. Okay. I'm working 41 hours a week after taxes. I'm not even bringing home $3,000 a month. Okay. Less than $3,000 a month. My rent is half of that. My mortgage payments and everything that goes. So if I had to live on my own with Taven, we'd be fucked. We'd be fucked. Completely. So when you're all sitting back going, oh, those people are making $15 an hour, our taxes are going up. Those people are barely scraping the bottom of the barrel, and they're not paying much tax. Nobody in this country pays 43% fucking income tax. Quit lying to people. So again, when you're buying cannabis in British Columbia too, you're also getting a 20% vape tax. And that's not just on cannabis. That's on all vapes. And now they're trying to take the flavors out again too. Which, whatever, like, here's my thing with all this, stopping the flavors and stopping all this to protect the children. If you have a minimum age of 19 or 18 in any province, why is anything supposed to be appealing to children? Cannabis is not supposed to be appealing to children because it should be 19 and under. And you're all worried about them appealing to children. Cannabis and alcohol and tobacco are appealing to children because they're watching their parents use it or people around them. It's got fuck all to do with the advertising and the marketing of it. Okay? If children aren't exposed to certain items, they're not going to want to use it. And 90% of the time, they're being exposed to it at school around their peers, other peers, might not even be at home. So it's not the advertising of anything that's appealing to children. You can put a unicorn on a fucking bottle of beer, and that's not going to make somebody want to drink that bottle of beer. I'm just saying. But again, if we've got a minimum age rate for all these things like alcohol, cigarettes, tobacco, vapes, cannabis, why are we worried about appealing to children? We should be worried about training the people that are actually serving that commodity to the general public to make sure that they're IDing everybody. And again, kids are being exposed to this at home or by their peers. They're not seeing it on TV. They're not seeing it online. This is an exposure by society, okay? People drink beer on the weekends. They go home after a long week. You know, they're fucking sitting by a fire drinking beer. That's how your kids are being exposed to it. That's how it's being appealing to your children because you're exposing them to it. My son, okay, maybe cannabis was appealing to him because he's seen me and his dad use it on a regular, right? We use it on a regular basis. We're both patients. We have pain. We use it for sleep. I use it for eating. We use it for other things. But he's also been told it's only been used for medicine. When he first asked me at 12 if he could use cannabis to help him with his pain, because he did have pain. Kids had long COVID. The kids had ankle problems. He was having problems sleeping. We tried melatonin, magnesium. I've taken him to naturopaths, a doctor. We've tried everything, right? Or we thought we had tried everything. And at 12 years old, he said to me, Mom, do you think I could try a cannabis candy? And I looked at him and I said, no. I feel you are too young to start this. Pain-wise, like if he was an epileptic, if he was disabled, a disabled child, I would have probably said yes. He's not a disabled child. But at 14, he came to me and said, Mom, my ankle, I've had long COVID. I can't sleep. And we knew this was an issue. And it's been an issue, an ongoing issue for 2 years. Long COVID, all these things. Like I said, I'd taken him to the medical. He's had medical, he's had x-rays, he's seen a surgeon, he's been to an acupuncturist, we've done everything for this kid that we could possibly do to make it so that his ankle felt better, that he felt better about himself, about sleeping and all these things, right? I love my son. And at 14, he said, Mom, actually, what happened was at Christmas time, his sisters were all here with their other siblings, and they're all the same age as Taven, and they were all of them consuming cannabis. And I lost my shit on Talia. And I said, you shouldn't have bought those kids cannabis for Christmas, or like that can put you in jail for 14 fucking years. Like, use your head. Quit supplying these children with cannabis. And he heard me flipping out at his sister about buying the other kids all these things at Christmas time. And then it came out that my son had been using cannabis behind my back with his friends. I'm not sure how it all kind of came out, to be honest. I think I put it on him and he finally just said, yeah. And he then explained to me that how it helped him and how he felt it helped him. And I went, okay. But here's the deal, buddy. If you're going to use cannabis, you are not to get it from any other source but me. So I can go to a store where I know it's safe, where I know you're not going to pick it up at the skate park and have it fucking laced with fentanyl or carfentanil or who knows what fuck. Anyways, I had a discussion with all his friends' parents and we've all decided that if it helps them in their lives to make it better, whatever, right? They're not drinking alcohol. They're not drinking cigarettes. My kid will not even pick up a joint because he doesn't want to smoke. Okay? But again, we're putting ourselves at risk, right? By helping our children feel better because they want to use cannabis. But again, it wasn't appealing to them because they saw some advertisement on it or they figured it might taste good. Or again, because they saw an advertisement on TV or children are being exposed to these items because they're being used in their general facility. I smoke cigarettes. They smell like, oh, I'm actually quit cigarettes. I'm not going to say that too, but I've actually put cigarettes down completely. I think I've smoked. I think I might have a puff on a cigarette first thing when I get up. I have 2 puffs of it, and then I hand it to Helen, or I put it out because even the taste of it makes me want to throw up. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm nicotine free because I'm not, but I'm down to 10 milligrams from 20. So I am cigarette free between these 2 items, and I do I smoke weed or cannabis, and I smoke it. Like I roll doobies, and if that's helping me get off tobacco, but again, my son doesn't want to smoke cannabis because he doesn't want to smoke. He just likes the vape. Doesn't like bong, doesn't just the vape pen. And it's helping him sleep. And to be fair, I went to the local naturopath here in Cranbrook. I paid $175 to go see this quack. She sent us home with a do your own blood test for $75 and to go to the health food store and pick up some melatonin and some magnesium for him. And then some silly tincture this is before his tonsils were taken out, right? Because he was sick a lot before his tonsils were taken out. And we had gone there to talk to her because I thought she was a podiatrist. I thought that we were going to talk to somebody about his feet, right? Or his ankles. And that's what I had booked the appointment for. I thought, okay, well, these medical doctors, I can't. And I Googled podiatrist and her name would come up. So I thought, okay, well, we'll just give this a try, right? What a fucking joke. So again, my son was sent home with magnesium and melatonin for his fucking ankles and a home blood test kit. In fact, I still have the home blood kit test in my drawer from fucking 4 years ago and a bill for $75 for it. Why in the hell am I going to pay a naturopath $75 fucking dollars to get a blood test done when so I took him off to, back to our, GP and told her what the, consensus was. And she just kind of looked at me and went, well, melatonin's, whatever. She goes, it can be used. She goes, I, sometimes, also like prescribe that. Oh, a box. Thank you, honey. Hopefully it's my shoes. It's my shoes. Me and my shoes. I haven't been able to fucking find a pair of shoes. Yeah. Anyway, so I've splurged on a pair. Anyway, I'm gonna open them in a minute. But again, here we are, back to the melatonin. So again, back to the doctor, melatonin, blah, blah, blah. And I asked my doctor, because she knows about our cannabis use. She signed my license at one point in time. And I talked to her about it. And she told me to give it a shot. She said maybe let him eat it first. Maybe try and keep him away from smoking anything. Would she give him a prescription? Because she won't even sign mine. Because like she said, it's legal. But for kids, it's not. And a lot of the doctors, even prior to legalization, we had a hard time trying to find doctors that would sign a child. I know it was tough for Sarah. I know it's been tough for Cheryl. I know it was tough for Mandy McKnight and the McKnight family trying to find a doctor that would actually sign their child. And these children were disabled, okay? Like these children have had like Haley's had childhood epilepsy since she was a baby. Like, these are children that were sent home with stents in their heads to die because their parents, the medical said, sorry, we can't help you anymore, right? Yet these children continue to live. Haley's 31. Unfortunately, Maya passed away when she was just about 15, but she lived 8 more years than she was supposed to because of the love of her mother and her family and cannabis. And they kept her alive for years using cannabis. I mean, to the point that they moved out to the middle of nowhere so they could grow and make sure that she was okay. Away from COVID, away from anybody, anything that could fucking hurt her. Including me. I'm not even in contact with them anymore. I was a shitty friend. Just gonna say. And it breaks my fucking heart that I don't have anything to, I don't hear from her anymore. But again, people have lives, choices. I'm not gonna, impose my fucking self on anybody. I never will. Y'all know where I am. Y'all know how to reach out, right? Okay, well, I'm on my show, honey. My honey's here too today. But that's because, 5 weeks of hernia surgery. Yep. And we're still hoping that that's going to heal up okay. But again, back to the whole point of this is that the fact of the matter is that if you give your child under the age of 18 or 19, depending what province you're in, you're exposing yourself to that risk. Now, I have looked along, along with the Cannabis Act too. Actually, in factuality, cannabis has been taken off the CDSA. It has. We were kind of thinking that it had still been, it was still there. It's not. It's gone. It's not on the CDSA. They removed it with the Cannabis Act. Now there are fines, like they say, if if you're caught, whatever, in public, fines starting at if you're overgrowing. So there's not a mandatory minimum. You're going to go to jail for 14 years. That's gone. But like I said in my intro, politics and cannabis go hand in hand. And if the governmentally changes, because remember who wanted to take our gardens away. Remember how we got to this licensed production fucking fiasco to begin with, right? It was Stephen Harper's conservative government that wanted to take our grow rights away from people that use cannabis as medicine. He figured that we had no rights growing ourselves, right? So what did we do? In fact, I think at one point, remember, kitty litter. Send your cannabis to Health Canada in kitty litter, because that's going to help keep the toxins down. Unfucking believable. This is the reality. So at that point in time, then all of a sudden, we had people like Philip Lucas, hand in hand with the conservative government, building Tilray to take over the fucking whole world, with supplying patients with cannabis. Tilray. Chucky from Tweed. Yep. He was at the convention in 2014. We met him. Chucky Rafiki. He's actually, the godfather of cannabis, as they say on Wikipedia, which I fucking shake my head for, because in reality, he had fuck all to do with it. What he had to do with it was lobbying Trudeau into helping hand in hand make himself rich with Tweed, right? So we had Tilray, Aurora, Tweed coming out. So we had three big ones, straight out of the gate, that were coming up. Then Organigram and all these other ones that started coming out of the gate. But remember, it was Stephen Harper's conservative fucking Reform Alliance fucking nutbags that got us here. So we had to then generate a pile of money. Millions of dollars to take the Canadian government back to court. And John Conroy, who is one of the best fucking lawyers in Canada, and Kurt Tusaw, stepped up to the plate. And we got an injunction, which then put the MMAR into an injunction, which meant that cannabis patients had a right to grow their cannabis at home again. Okay? So then the government was then put back and had to create the ACMPR, another program. So we went from MMAR, Section 56, to the MMAR, which was the first one, to the MMPR, is where, you were going to have to line up behind Harper's Tweedy little guys and buy their fucking $10 a gram fucking medicine that was eradicated. Okay? None of us were happy about this. None of us wanted to do this, right? In fact, I went to the Edmonton Journal and they came out to the farm and did an article, and none of us were happy about this. We all made a stink about the growing aspect of all of this. And we got an injunction. So again, then the government had to, build the ACMPR, another program after the MMPR. But then we got the Liberals in, right? And thanks to a lot of people, I was there for some of it. Yep, I was not there for all of it. But we pushed and we pushed and we pushed. And the Normal Women's Alliance, of Canada, and Normal Canada, and the patients and everybody, and we pushed. And we ended up in Montreal in 2014 with Young Liberals running the policy. And Judith Renault and Joy Davies, they tried running for the Liberals as well, as candidates. It was really tough to get green light. Even Jody Emery wasn't green light by the fucking Liberals, which was why I've never even attempted to try. Because if they're not going to fucking green light Joy Davies, honestly, or Jody Emery, they're not going to green light me. Again, I'm still the chair of the Liberal Riding Association in my riding, in my area, but to be fair, there's not a Liberal in this part of the province, I swear. Well, there are, just none of them willing to come out and do anything with me, which I understand, because there's a lot of fucking rednecks here that hate Justin Trudeau. But like we say, fuck Trudeau is Albertan for I can't read, or British Columbian, whichever. Canadian for I can't read. We'll just leave it at that. Like I said, where did that is so un-Canadian. It's so un-Canadian. How these people have been acting is so un-Canadian. We have always been known on the world stage as being kind, generous, compassionate people. We have. And how these people are acting, that's un-Canadian to me. Honking your horn and standing on the side of a highway, impeding traffic and trying to make other people's lives miserable is not Canadian. That to me is straight out of Alabama. Just saying. Anyways, Canada's laws were changed in Canada in 2018, right? And it wasn't really hard to get it passed through into the Liberal platform because the young Liberals were so adamant about the fact we showed them the money, we showed them the absolute, facts of the matter, and for public health and safety. So the Liberals saw this as a public health and safety. It was never supposed to be a great big industry where they were going to come in and make all these big things. That's not what it was. But the Conservatives saw it that way, right? They saw it as a great big leap to get fucking either patients off the cannabis and shut everybody down because we couldn't afford we couldn't afford our meds, or to make it so that it was a big industry and that fucking people, all their little friends would get rich. Remember the police fucking chiefs and everybody that were jumping on board, right? When it was the MMPR, because all of a sudden it was okay. But yet Health Canada still hadn't recognized cannabis as medicine. Everything that we've gotten, we have forced them through a court of law. Because you know what? That's the thing in Canada, right? The rule of fucking law in our charter. Now, Poilievre wants to try and change our charter. And Scott Moe and all these fucking premiers with their not withholding, It's fucking appalling to me that this is Canada. And here we sit with all this stuff on the brink. And if you think that they won't stop fucking what we're doing right now with cannabis, and if you think that program can't be shut down just like daycare and dental and pharmacare, it's a ministry, okay? They can pull the plug on that fucker in a fucking heartbeat. And remember who wanted to put us in jail. That they thought that cannabis growers were worse than fucking rapists. Remember that. As you're all sitting back going, oh, it's a natural medicine, and oh God, the COVID vaccine. Like I've said, we'll talk about this when we get back from the break. But all you anti-vax natural fucking users, okay, I get you want everything not, no Western medicine. I get that. You want to use cannabis, only cannabis and cannabis, okay? I get that. But a little news flash for you. Cannabis is not going to help your fucking meningitis, your polio, or your diphtheria, or COVID. It doesn't fucking help that stuff. Your body needs some sort of vaccinations and immunity boosters to help you with certain things, because our body, kind of like when smallpox hit, right? What was the cure for smallpox? Smallpox fucking wiped out billions of fucking indigenous people. Didn't it? But you don't want to vaccinate yourself. You don't want to vaccinate your children. You don't want to because the government's telling you. It ain't the fucking government, fuckhead. It's public health and fucking safety. And that's why this was legalized. It wasn't to make you fucking feel all warm and cushy and that you figured whatever. It was for public health and safety. Why? Because some of your growers out there were fucking feeding us fucking moldy shit. Anyways, on that note, we're going to thank our sponsors because we have to pay the bills here, and it's time, and I've been fucking raging silently for a half an hour now. So, we'll be back after we thank our sponsors and pay some bills. Limestone Hydroponics, Legacy 420, and the Campbellford Lifestyle. We'll be right back. Oh, I guess I got to unplug my mouse because it was dying. All right, here we go. Now I will play my little... Oh, it's connected now. Okay. I'll be right back.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at paceradio.net.
Camelford Lifestyle Shop, open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Camelford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Camelford, Ontario.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hello, I guess I'm back. Here I am typing away on Facebook because I got a few messages on there. But if you want to talk to me, you can talk to me in the chat, in like on Pace Radio or on Cannabis and Coffee or Pace Radio Network, because I am here and I can see the chat. So I do have that ability. But I was just telling one of my local friends here that actually works at my favorite little store here in town. Green Gear Cannabis actually is one of my favorite stores here in Cranbrook. The people there are great. The owner is terrific. And never mind that I won their 420 package, right? So I will promote the fuck out of that store. They are great people that work there. Actually, one of the other workers that works there too, she was my trainer when I worked at the garden center, and then she left. And I was really sad, because if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have got through my first month at that place. She was super patient with me. She's just a super nice girl. Anyway, she left, and then that's where she went. So I started going there to see her, to be fair. And then I just don't go anywhere else. They have, and I used to go to another store here in town, and yeah, one of their workers decided to come off on me one day about the Prime Minister. That's probably something you don't want to do. Just saying. Anyway, so that was, sorry, I guess what I started. And before the break, I said I was going to open my box here. Awesome shoes. They're from the United Kingdom. I ordered these online, I thought, from Amazon. Well, I did order them from Amazon. And they better be like the real thing, or I'm going to be pissed, because I paid a lot of fucking money for these. And I don't normally spend this kind of cash on myself. But like I said, I've been having such a hard time finding shoes. And I did buy a pair of Birkenstock here in town, but they're like the kid size, and they're the plastic fucking shoe. And they still they still hurt my fucking toes. Like every night I come home, because my toes just sit at the edge of them, and because of my arthritis, my toenails, the top, like my toenails, like they're thickening. So anything that touches the top of them. And I thought that was me because I had toe fungus, or like I'd gone to the doctor, everything, right? And then I went to see my rheumatoid specialist. She goes, "Oh no, that's a sinus psoriatic arthritis." She goes, "But you only have it in two toes, so it's like a combination of RA and psoriatic." But I see, and I don't get psoriasis, right? And that was one of the first things she asked me when I first went in there was, "Do you suffer from psoriasis?" And I'm like, "No, never had eczema as a kid." I used to get like hives though, like all of a sudden I'd break out and like it looked like I had bug bites all over my legs and stuff. And I could never figure that out. And then I would be in pain and stuff. But it wasn't eczema, it wasn't psoriasis, it wasn't the same, almost like a shingle. Like I get that shingle here too, right? Which I never got as a kid. That's why when I went to see the doctor, I thought it was always a cold sore. And I figured I'd picked it up somewhere along my drug fucking days, like using somebody else's pipe or whatever, right? And then to find out that it's an autoimmune thing and it's a shingle, and that's where it hits me, is here, because that's where the virus first hits, is your, anyways, medical science, right? I'm not a doctor, but holy moly, like the stuff that they learn and the stuff that they know when you actually go to see them. Why we will go back to the the home blood test, like, I'm sorry. I understand the whole naturopath thing. I get it. You want to be healthy. You think that the pharmaceuticals are fucking killing you, your livers, your kidneys, all these things, right? I get it. I get it. Because I was there. I was never going to fucking take pills. I was never going to fucking get a vaccine. I was never going to go see a fucking doctor. The only reason why I went to see a doctor never mind, I got fucking pregnant. But before that, the only reason why I had ever gone to see a doctor again, because I had gone and I knew, I was talking to my mom. I was, "Well, you were diagnosed with colitis in 1986." Because I was talking about my stomach always hurt and blah. And she just kind of reminded me, and I was like, because after I finally got out of that abusive relationship and got myself healthy enough to realize that that it wasn't all the drugs that I was doing. Because it wasn't like I had a 6-month stint. Okay, before that I had a job and I raised my kids and I was like pretty normal until that February in 2005. And that February in 2005, I fucking fell down. I fucking drove I walked into my apartment, saw what I saw, walked out, turned around, drove straight to I can say his name because he's no longer with us. One of my friends, John Madani. I drove straight to his fucking place and I said, "I need a gram of blow." And then I stayed there for 5 days. And then it just continued until, October of 2005. So it was, so after that, I had some problems with my lungs. I figured I had asthma. I was from smoking crack, right? Whatever. Fucking fucked up my lungs, fucked up everything. Went to my doctor, got out of it, and pretty much said, "Hey, I was a drug addict and I needed fucking help," which fucked me. Don't ever do that, because when I had Taven, then they're looking at me like, "Oh, you're a drug addict." Meanwhile, my mother had ran around for years telling everybody I was a drug addict because I smoked weed. Seriously, like that was the hardest drug back when I was younger, my ex-husband and I had left because he was selling blow back in the 80s when I was in my teens, and we had left because he was going to get himself busted, right? So I dabbled a bit, but I wasn't using a lot because I was a teenager, okay? Like I was 17, 18 years old. I was working as a hairdresser. I had a full-time job. And then when Sandy pulled that shit and we had to fucking leave and go move to Calgary, right? My parents packed up our fucking house. My parents did, and moved everything to fucking Calgary because we ran. Because of shit he was doing, right? So because of that, and then my mom walked into our place after that and smelled weed and then fucking turned around and walked out. And then he got busted for trafficking, conspiracy for the purpose of trafficking cannabis, okay? And then he did jail time. And then we got married, and that was 1991. All right. So prior, somebody in 1991, I was 21 years old. So prior to me being 21 years old, I'd already been through all this shit. Okay. From 16 to 21. And then I met my ex. One of them. And that was a fucking nightmare. And again, he was, all about smoking cannabis, which is fine. Whatever. Selling, doing whatever. Gangster. Okay. I had 3 kids with that piece of shit. He's dead now too. Anyways, so cannabis has kind of been all around me since I was 8. Well, 16, but I didn't start actually smoking it till I was 18 because I was one of those like, oh, if I can't beat him, I might as well join him. Because Sandy was going to not ever stop. And he was an alcoholic. Okay. He was 6 years older than I was. He'd already had, in the 16 years old, within the first 6 months of me being with him, he'd already gone to Renfrew once, which is a detox center in Calgary for alcohol. Because he had come home drunk one night and tried beating up his fucking stepbrother. So, like I said, from 16 to 21, I'd already lived it. And then it got worse. So when I hit the crack pipe when I was 35, okay, I was 35, right? In 2005, when all this shit went down. So, so once all that stuff had, kind of rambled on, I mean, I drank a lot when I was younger too, but nothing like, I wasn't like sitting on East Hastings banging needles. I never stuck a needle in my arm with drugs, ever, never. Okay. Never done heroin. All right. Never done that opioid stuff. It was always cocaine and cannabis and alcohol. Those were the only 3 drugs. Mushrooms, but that's like, I don't like them either. They made me feel fucky. I don't like being out of control. But then being diagnosed with attention deficit, which I found out after too, all the cocaine made sense. Do you know what I mean? It all made sense because of stimulant. Because when I smoked or I snorted, I felt normal. I would go to sleep. People look at me like, what the fuck is wrong with her? She was never, it doesn't show it. Send her to the store for a lighter. Remember that, folks? Anyways, again, it all made sense. But my mother then told me I'd diagnosed with colitis. And like I said, I wasn't into the doctor. But I was living in Tabor and I'd started doing cannabis activism. And I had a new doctor. I had Evelyn Hardenshoe for years. And she would have done everything for me too. But I ended up with Wade Steed, who was a Mormon on top of all of this, which sucked. And he wasn't a great doctor either, right? To be fair. But Michelle Rainey had said something to me. And it was her words that said, I will get you to a doctor if your doctor will not help you. In fact, I still think I have the email in my Hotmail that she sent me saying, do whatever it takes, Tamara, get yourself a diagnosis and I will get you a doctor that will sign your paperwork for you. Because in order for you to be louder, you need to be legal. And I will live and die on that sword. And Michelle Rainey told me, in order to be louder, to get legalization, you need to be legal. And I started my journey and my quest to get a legal licensing and fighting with the doctors. Because the doctors weren't allowed to sign because the Alberta College of Physicians refused to allow it. That was my first fucking plight. My first real plight was fighting with Alberta College of Physicians to get my doctor's ability to sign my paperwork there. And they wouldn't. So in 2012, I flew after I'd had Taven. So all this started 2007-ish. And then I ended up pregnant with the boy and stop everything. Because you can't be going for legal marijuana cannabis licensing when you're pregnant, right? That was going to be a non-stop. Like that's a non-starter, right? There's no doctor in this country, in this world, that's going to sign you for legal cannabis when you're pregnant. It's not going to happen. So I had to stop everything till after I had Taven, which was in December of 2009. I think I hit my licensing 2012. So for 3 years, I did everything that I did. No, yeah. Because he was 18 months old when I got busted. Or just a little under 18 months old, because I got my license in 2012. He was born in 2009. He wasn't 3. But he was born... Maybe I got I did get my, no, we were in Tabor. I don't know. That doesn't make much sense because I think Taven was only 8 months old when I got my license. So it was 2009? No, 2010. When did I go? I have to go back and look. That doesn't make any sense. Taven was not 3 years old because he was 18 months old when we moved to Coronation. And I'd gotten my license. So it was 2010, I guess, that I first went out. Yeah, it must have been 2010. Wow. Yeah, 2010 I got my licensing. Oh, fuck. I think it was 2012. Because that when I got married in 2012, when I was in Coronation, I got my licensing when we were still living in Tabor. So I got my license in 2010. Because I got busted in 2010. Tatum was born in December 2009. Yeah, because because he was born in, and I flew to Ottawa in February of 2010 for our first fucking protest. And I was living in Tabor. And maybe he was a year old. It was February 2011. Because he was born 2009. 2010, December, he would have been a year. And it was February 2011. I think. Must have been 2011. Here I am. Yeah, 2011. Anyways, I got my licensing on. But again, I had to fly to Cohill, Ontario, well, to Toronto. Well, I went to Ottawa first. We protested in Ottawa. And then I hooked up with Vicky Fleming, and she drove me to Cohill, Ontario. And I saw Dr. Cameron, and I flew home with license. Now, to be fair, my doctor in Tabor got me the colonoscopy, got me the diagnosis, wrote a letter saying that, I had mentioned that I wanted whatever, and I took all this paperwork with me off to Cohill. So that's how I got my first licensing. Now, when I moved to Hannah, I was able to get my doctor in Hannah to actually sign my paperwork because he said it was his clinic and he'd do what he wanted of it. Now, he didn't think that it was really helping me at all, like with my inflammation and stuff. He wasn't sure. He didn't know enough about it. But if I felt that it was giving me a better quality of life, that's all he cared about. And it was giving me a better quality of life because he wasn't prescribing me Asacol and codeine and all the shit that I had already been through with Dr. Steed to get me to where I had to get the colonoscopy to get the diagnosis for colitis to be able to go see Dr. Cameron to get a license for cannabis. And for a lot of people, it's not quite that easy. But again, in the back of my head, I had Michelle Rainey saying, you have to be legal to be louder. And I did my first global marijuana march in Lethbridge in 2008 without a license because I didn't really think anything of it. I really hadn't thought about it. Like licensing. What? Medical. There's nothing wrong with me. Right? There's plenty wrong with me. Rheumatoid arthritis now too. Never mind the attention deficit that my parents just kind of left to the wayside. I'm not really sure if it was, mom said, oh, the medication made you worse. Okay, maybe it did. I don't remember. I was a kid. I remember being floundering a lot. I remember not finishing anything. I remember being very scattered and always bored. I'm medicated now. Has it made a difference? You bet. Do I like it much? No. I don't, like I said, I wasn't that girl to run out and get pills. I was the last person. Everybody was, are you on antidepressants? Because you got rheumatoid arthritis, you must be depressed. No. Matter of fact, I do not take antidepressants. Probably why I'm fucking crazy. But cannabis kind of keeps me, I used to say, what does cannabis do for me? Stops me from wanting to kill people. Because I was a hairdresser for years, right? And having somebody in your chair sometimes made you want to kill somebody. Apparently I'm throwing my doobies around. All right. We got a few minutes left. I've actually successfully rambled on for another hour, wasted people's time for another hour. But if you're stuck with me for this hour, I appreciate it. And like I said, I do a lot of ranting and raving about cannabis because, in reality, we haven't gotten where we need to be for patients. I mean, the recommendations are, decent. And the whole fact of 95%, crime rates being down, 95%, that's epic. Okay. In hindsight, that's fucking epic. People aren't getting busted for fucking smoking joints. Cops couldn't be bothered, even if it's not supposed to be smoked in public. I highly doubt they're like ripping you down and SWAT teaming you, right? They got more important things to worry about, like fucking murders and car thefts and fucking rapes and fucking organized crime that are fucking now stealing people to fucking, take their kidneys. I think I'd be more concerned about that than a plant. Human trafficking. Like, there's got to be other things, to worry about putting people in jail for. But I'd like to see some reform done to our justice system, for sure. I'd like to see some stuff done with the youth justice, for sure. Our kids are getting away with fucking bloody murder, and nobody cares. And nobody's helping them. And nobody's doing anything to make the situation any better. And our kids are fucking dying of drug overdoses. And it's not even crime. It's drug overdose. We had a 13-year-old girl here die of a fucking fentanyl overdose. BC's, decriminalization, they say wasn't working. I think it was. I think it just gave the drug dealers fucking a goddamn fucking green light to fucking sell more toxic poison. Because it was like, oh, they were giving away free drugs. No, they weren't. There was still no safe access. And that was the whole point of legalization of cannabis, safe access. No more moldy weed. No more seeds. No more fucking gangsters getting away with fucking growing fucking pesticidal fucking over fertilized fucking cash crops. Oops. Yeah, we did that. And now I can go to a store and I can buy out of 1,000 different strains what I want. When it says it's green crack, it's green crack. It's not some guy down the block saying, I think it might be this. Or it's pot. That was a good one. What strain is this? Oh, it's pot. Pot's all the same. No more of that. You can actually go to a store and have the terpenes and all the testing done. So as much as I hate legalization to a point, I love it. I don't have to wait for anybody for 2 days to maybe bring me a bag of weed that's full of seeds. Or really isn't that great to begin with, or it's wet. Or not cured properly. Or it's supposed to be, hydro and it's fucking greenhouse or outdoor. If I want to buy outdoor weed, I can go to the store now and buy outdoor fucking cannabis. But I don't have to guess whether it's outdoor, greenhouse, or fucking something from somebody's fucking bathtub. You don't like legalization? That's on you. You want to call it cop weed or whatever the fuck. I hear on my friends say, it's cop weed. I'd never spend a dime on that shit. Then don't. I don't give a flying where you buy your cannabis. I know for me it's safe. I know that I'm not going to have to worry about my kid going to the fucking skate park and fucking picking up something that's fucking laced. Or myself, for that matter. Some people have no scruples. That's what you don't get. In this society that we've got now, people are fucked. You think they give a fuck if your kid fucking dies? They don't. All they care about is fucking putting money in their pocket. And that's relevant. And that's apparent. Even in my own fucking town. It's fucking pathetic. Anyways, we're going to fucking finish off the show with seeing what Tamara's new kicks look like. Because Tamarijuana is pink. And like I said, these better be the real thing. Because I will be fucking pissed that I spent this kind of money if they're not real. Oh, they're in the box. But counterfeit probably comes in the same box. But like I said, I highly doubted that I bought them off Amazon. I had no idea they were coming from the fucking UK. It took fucking 3 weeks to get the fucking things. You can't buy these in Canada anywhere in my size. You seriously can't. I've been trying to find a pair of fucking knees or something for my poor little feet in my size for fucking weeks. So, these are supposed to be a 2.5. Let's see if they fit. Dun, 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 dun. Look at them fucking puppies. All right. There's one. There's the other. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see if they fit. Oh. Okay. Guess what? They fit! Yay! Tamarijuana's got new kicks. Fuck, finally. Oh, and they feel good. Birkenstocks. Okay, so yes, I spent way too much fucking money on these fucking things. And I waited 3 weeks for them. But they fit. They actually fit. Yay, tell you, look. Mom got new shoes and they fit. All right. Well, that'll wrap us up. I guess we got about 5 minutes left. I want to thank everybody for watching and supporting our network and our shows. It's amazing that after, 20 years, I don't even know. I'm going to Google that too, because I don't even know how long I've been doing this for. Like, I have to, like, give my head a shake some days and go, how long you been doing this? You don't know. I have no idea. I just fucking keep on doing it. And I don't even know why. 2024 minus 2027 or 2000. So it's 2024. Yeah. Minus 2007. 17 years. I've been doing this for 17 fucking years. Not this, but fighting for fucking cannabis and our rights as patients for 17 years this June. June 6th, 2007, I started this shit show. So it's coming up 17 years. It's fucking incredible, to be honest. Fucking incredible that I've stuck to something this long. And that's it more than anything. Squiggly here, scatterbrain, fucking doesn't usually stay with much. Like, I pretty much never really finished much of anything in my life, except for raising my boy. I'm still doing that and sticking with Alvin, I guess, and this, and my dogs. Yeah. So, friends, I hope you have a great week. It's going to be, I think, 30 degrees here today. Don't forget to get your seeds ready. Get popping, or get your cloning. Get ready to get your stuff out, whether it's cannabis, whether it's lettuce, whether it's your radishes. In fact, I'm going to go and plant my peas in my pot and my tomatoes when I get off here. I have to work again at 3, and it's 1 o'clock. So I do this. I, get on the air noon, 1 o'clock. Today it's like skip the shower day and plant, and I'll, because I work till 3 to 10 tonight, but I got to get those peas in the ground today. So peas, carrots, all your gardening, May long is this weekend coming. So I usually wait till after that because we usually get snow, inevitably. But this May long, they're not calling for any precipitation at all, and it's supposed to be 30 degrees all weekend. So I'm thinking I'm going to get those peas popped out today, and yeah. My basil's in the ground. I got some basil growing already. And like I said, my first cannabis seeds were duds. So we're going to start all over again. I did yesterday. I popped a bunch more yesterday. So let's hope that them little suckers get going. And I'm going to pull the rock wool out and get them popped in there today too. And give them some more moisture. Because the paper towel just doesn't seem to want to hold the moisture as well. I guess the new ones, the Bounty, like, cause it sucks all the moisture up. And it wants to hold it. It doesn't hold it. It lets it, like, it evaporates fairly quickly. So I think I'm just going to put my seeds straight into the rock wool, soak them pretty good, and put them underneath some lights and see what we get going. Anyways, y'all have a great week. I will be back on Wednesday night. I think Al's got a thing to do, and I'm not sure if we're going to just run a rerun or if I'm going to go out alone. I'm going to see if I can find a guest for Wednesday night. If I can find a guest for Wednesday night, I'm going to probably go out alone. If I can't find a guest for Wednesday night, we're going to probably play a replay, because I have a hard enough time talking to myself for an hour, never mind 90 minutes. Anyways, you all have a great week. I will see you I'll see you either Wednesday or next Monday. You all take care. See ya.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.